All right, guys, Adam Trigger here. It is Tuesday, and it is time for some Major League Baseball free picks. Let's get right into it with Dodgers and Reds. This is at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati tonight, and we've got a great matchup. It's Tyler Glasnow for the Dodgers. It's Nick Lodolo for the Reds. And, I kind of look at this line, this matchup. I see the Dodgers taking some money, and the first thing I go to is, sort of where I have Tyler Glasnow rated and where I've had him rated the last couple weeks. So Tyler Glasnow, when he is fully healthy, is someone that is through the roof in my ratings. I have him very highly rated at full strength in terms of pitchers in the big leagues. He's right up there at the top. However, he was coming off of an injury, so that's what I've been really struggling with the last couple weeks as it pertains to Glasnow. Hadn't pitched since April. I had watched his rehab at AAA. His command was okay. So, how do I tweak that to make sure that I'm not sort of overvaluing him, knowing he's coming off of an injury that kept him out for a couple of months. And now I think I'm comfortable with sort of giving him like his full marks, because last time out against the Twins, 7 innings, 1 run ball, 3 hits, 12 strikeouts, 1 walk. And then the start before that, 6 innings against the Brewers, 1 run, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. So that is now 2 starts, and that doesn't count the start prior against the Brewers. He did make that shorter start prior to the All-Star break. So he's had extended time, and in the last 2 starts, 13 innings, 2 runs, 18 strikeouts against 2 walks. Those are tremendous numbers. And I think it's reasonable to just price Glasnow as his normal, like where you would put him at full strength. That's why it kind of makes this game difficult for me, because had I still sort of been, I guess, watering down Glasnow's rating a little bit, I would be all over the Reds here. The Reds, I think, and if you watch my Total Bases show, I've said this a million times this year, I think the Reds are as undervalued a team from where they are right now, which is about 5 games over 500, to where I think their ceiling is, that there's still big time value, in my opinion, on this Reds team. I think they have become a little bit of an afterthought, being in the same division as the Cubs and the Brewers, 2 of what have sort of emerged to be the elite teams in all of the National League. And so the Reds are just kind of down there doing their thing, but like, this is still a team that's 5 games over 500. That really is, like, not only are they still a very good baseball team, but they're one that I think has a ton of upside. Nick Lodolo, I mean, if we're just talking surface numbers, very similar numbers to Glasnow. And Lodolo's had a tremendous season as well. 9 innings. Believe he had a complete game shutout last time out. I know he went the full distance. Can't remember if he gave up a run or not. But the point is, like, Lodolo is been as good. I mean, yeah, that was a 9-inning shutout, 8 strikeouts against the Nats. Point is, he's really been as good as Glasnow. Glasnow, we only have the small sample. So I think it's reasonable to just kind of look at this and say, yeah, these 2 starting pitchers sort of, offset each other at this point. Where I do think the Reds have a slight edge here is in the bullpen. So I'm going to give you guys a great stat. This was something I kind of had to look up, or I was looking up as I was handicapping this game, that I think is glaring. The Dodgers have played 15 straight games that have been decided by 3 runs or less. So that was something I was kind of looking at this game coming into it, saying, I do think the Reds they certainly don't have a worse bullpen. I don't know if you can, like, matter-of-factly say their bullpen is better, but their bullpen is certainly not worse than the Dodgers bullpen right now. And the Dodgers have really racked up the leverage innings in that bullpen since coming out of the All-Star break. Like I said, you could even go back before the All-Star break and they were playing close games, but 15 games consecutive decided by 3 runs or less is quite the mark. And, I think that's a little bit of an equalizer on the back end here. So when I look at this number, and this has been bet a little bit, the Dodgers, not surprising that they're taking some money. I look at this number and say, I can get the Reds plus 1.5 in the -110, -115 range, when starting pitching is very, very similar. The bullpens are very similar. I'd almost give the edge to the Reds there. And then you have two lineups where it's like on paper, the Dodgers lineup is probably better. But the upside of this Reds lineup with the team speed and what I think they're capable of makes the Reds appealing here. So Reds plus 1.5 at that price, I think is absolutely worth a look. And I would not put you off making that play. So free pick here on the Reds plus 1.5. I will be putting up a paid play today. I'm in play right now. This game's, by the time you're going to watch this video, this game will have already started. But I wrote this up and put it on my page on Twitter. So make sure you're following me on Twitter at AdamTriggerWT. I played the Blue Jays in game 1 of the doubleheader. It was like plus 105, plus 108, something like that. And I did a full write-up for that one. So you can find that on my Twitter page. That is the only thing I'm in play with so far for Tuesday. With that being said, I'm more than likely going to add something else MLB, and we have KBO in the morning. So whatever my next play that I give out, which will happen today, will be the $5 play. And I'll be going for, so right now I've got 4 straight wins, cashed with my 5%er last night on the Padres. I've got a play this afternoon, and then we'll absolutely be playing tonight. So check out my page for a selection that'll probably be a 4%er, and it'll just be $5. All right, let's go to a different game. Let's talk Red Sox, Twins, and let's talk Pearson Ole, who should be making his major league debut for the Twins tonight. I know earlier this morning there was not a pitcher listed for the Twins. Everything I've read suggests it's going to be Pearson Ole's major league debut. So let's talk about Pearson Ole, because I'm assuming most people have not heard of him. He is basically what he is at this point is last year's Zebby Matthews. So the Twins are really just going to try to ride the hot hand here. It's the exact same thing they did with Zebby last year, where Pearson Ole started the year in low A. So he started the year at A ball, was quickly promoted to double A, had a lot of success quick at double A. They quickly promoted him to triple A. He had success there, and they're going to run him out in a big league game tonight. The reason they're okay with that, this is another guy that wasn't like a really big time draft pick, but he went to college, so he's 25 years old. Same exact profile as Zebby Matthews. I think Zebby was a 7th rounder, went to like Western Carolina or something like that. And I think the Twins are okay, sort of rushing guys like this along because they've already played 4 years of college. They're a little bit older. And I just think the Twins want to see two things. A, want to see what they have with Ole. And B, they're just riding the hot hand because he is having a monster season in the minors. At all levels of minor league baseball this year, he has a 0.95 whip. He's got 79 strikeouts and 66 and a third innings pitched, and he has a 2.17 ERA. So, if you go back to last year, I'll keep using the Zebby Matthews comparison. Matthews was very good those first couple of starts. Now, once the league starts to figure him out and stuff, like it's possible that, he, fizzles out, regresses, so on and so forth. But those first couple starts, when Matthews came up last year, he was very solid. He was hot. They really just decided to ride the hot hand. And that's kind of what they're doing with Ole in this spot. On the other side, you've got Lucas Giolito, who was as hot as can be for a period of time, which I'll be perfectly honest, did not understand. This is a guy that got destroyed in a bet that I made on it was the Angels game. And I was on the right side of that when the Angels ended up winning that game. I was on the Red Sox in that game. Red Sox ended up winning that game. I just remember we won that game, but Giolito got absolutely rocked. And I think I said something to the extent of like, yeah, he's probably done after that. Like I literally thought he was going to get sent down, DFA'd. I couldn't imagine that they would trot him out there after the poor run that led to that. And he forced me to eat my words because the run he had after that start, so that start was back on June 4th. He lasted an inning and 2/3, gave up 7 runs on 8 hits. The run he had after that start was tremendous from pretty much the rest of June into the All-Star break. However, now we're out of the All-Star break. There was a 10-day sort of rest period, a little bit of time between starts, and it doesn't really surprise me that Giolito has kind of come back to earth a little bit after that crazy run. So far, in 2 starts out of the All-Star break, 4 earned runs against the Cubs. He gave up 5 earned runs against the Phillies. So in the last 2 starts since the break, that's 9 1/3, and he's given up 9 earned runs. When I look at the underlying metrics, the expected ERA is in mid-5. It's like 5.6. The expected batting average, 293. He's giving up hard hit, and it's just those types of underlying metrics are not great. Giving up a lot of hard hit, not getting the grounders, and those expected ERA and batting average numbers being as poor as they are, tell me that he's probably what we saw earlier in the season and what we've seen the last 2 starts. It's almost hard to explain. Based on that, to me, it's difficult to explain that run he had June into July. So for me, Lucas Giolito is a fade. Ole is a play on right now as long as he's continuing to pitch good. Again, reminds me a lot of Zebby Matthews last year, had a couple of good starts when he came up, and it was just the Twins basically saying, you are hotter than the sun right now at AAA. Let's just see if you can do it. So with the Twins at plus money, I actually make them a slight favorite in this game. That's the way I would look. I like Twins plus 105. Not sure if it'll make my client card, but certainly the only way I would play this game. So there's 2 free picks for you. That's Reds plus 1.5 and Twins on the money line. $5 play is going to be up on my page, wt.buzz/AT. And make sure you're joining us for Total Bases every weekday, 9 a.m. Eastern, on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Throw us a like, subscribe, comment below. Tell me if you agree or disagree, and we will see you guys back here in the morning.